tend to like driving early in the mornings. Usually I'll listen to like a podcast or something. Well, there's only one podcast I really listen to. It's the Ogpod, but they don't do them anymore. So I end up listening to the same couple of podcasts over and over again. When I'm not doing that, I usually listen to music. And there's just something nice about being out on the road this kind of hour for long periods of time, you know. Because even when there is like some other cars on the road, I like it early in the morning because the roads are usually pretty empty. But even when there are other cars, I still feel this sense of, you know, personal space that I don't get at home. Like, this car is kind of like a second home to me almost, you know. Or, I don't know, maybe it's like a second bedroom or whatever. It's just somewhere I can go to get away from everything. What I kind of like about driving is you can't watch videos, and you can't text people, you can't read anything. So kind of forced to just kind of chill out a little bit. Even when you're listening to podcasts, your mind tends to drift and think about other things. Sometimes these long drives, well, most of the time, these long drives, they kind of help me put things in perspective. Like, if there's something bothering me, I can go for a drive and calmly think about it for a while, and usually I kind of figure out what's bothering me, and I can move on. But sometimes when I go on these long drives, bad things come out, you know. Like, you know, sometimes I'll be driving and thinking, and yeah, like I said, usually it's really meditative. It helps me, you know, kind of meditate and get things in perspective, really. But sometimes my mind gets stuck on something bad that happened. It's usually something that I did that bothers me. Sometimes I just do things, or I act rash, or I don't really do it much anymore, but I used to be a really emotional person. I kind of used to live on autopilot and, you know, just let my feelings guide me, which turned out really horribly, you know, more often than not. But I'm not like that anymore. More conscious of what I do. this is actually the, I didn't plan, I didn't plan where I'm going to go. I just thought I'll just drive randomly and see what happens. And I'm actually heading towards my old high school right now. Like, subconsciously. Like, I didn't decide to go there, I just kind of subconsciously went. Because I used to drive to school a lot in the last few years of high school. High school was a weird thing for me. I didn't quite understand the concept of how living works. Basically, I would go to high school every day and think, today I'll make friends. But I was looking at it, for some reason I thought it was something that was going to happen to me, not something I had to do. Like, I thought, oh, friends will happen to me today, or oh, club activity will happen to me today, or something like that, you know. Oh, making a difference in the school is going to happen to me today. And yeah, that wasn't the right attitude. I was also really kind of fucked by sleep schedules. I used to be a pretty optimistic guy, but I got really, really depressed in during high school because I couldn't sleep. The schedule, you know, as a teenager, it was hard for me to fall asleep because I was full of energy and all that. And then I had to wake up really early to get to the bus, or, you know, just to drive. So that didn't help. Like, I feel like I would have been more proactive in living if I wasn't so depressed all the time. Like, if I slept better, I probably would have joined a club, or, you know, gone to more parties or whatever. But I keep forgetting that my car has the turning radius of a Tyrannosaurus, so it's really hard for me to make turns in this place, but yeah, there you go. But yeah, yeah, it was I really kind of blew it. It was kind of like, oh, a girlfriend will happen to me today, you know? But yeah, so, I don't know where that came from, but I guess just something went wrong in my life where I thought that, things would just happen to me. I don't know. Though actually, I remember at some point during high school, I realized that those things weren't going to happen to me, and that I would have to go out and get friends and all that. But I was really reluctant to, because I don't know. I was reluctant to because I didn't know if I was a good person or not, and I wanted to figure that out before my friends did. Like, I didn't want to make friends only for both of us to discover that I'm a really bad person. And oddly enough, it was that worry that kind of made me do some of the stupid things I did. Like, it was out of, like, all that loneliness from me isolating myself ended up putting me in this emotional state where I did some really shitty things, but that's just me. So I've left the high school now. I'm just driving down the road. I think there was a nice diner back here somewhere, but I think it's a bit far out. I might turn back because I don't want to be out too long, or else traffic will pick up. At my high school, we had this program called the Peer Leader program. Basically, they would put together a team of students, and those students would kind of talk with other students and try and sort things out. Like, if two students were fighting or were having some sort of disagreement, then the peer leader would talk it out with them. Or if a student was like really depressed and didn't see the reason to go to high school, then the peer leader would talk to them. And I remember my counselor, she came to me junior year. I think it was junior year. Yeah, it was junior year. My counselor came to me, and she personally recommended me for the peer leaders, and she asked if I was interested. And at the time, I had this really humanitarian life goal. Like I was a little righteous back then. So I thought, yeah, why not? I wouldn't mind helping out in the school. If I can help people, that'd be nice, I guess. And to me, I thought, I would be helping other people, but really be helping me kind of get myself out there and do something with my life. And I remember I went into the interview. Yeah, I went into the interview for the peer leaders, and they asked me what I would do if a student didn't see the point in high school. And I gave a very... The answer I gave was really unorthodox. I just said that there really isn't a point to high school. But if you fail, you're going to be stuck here longer. So you might as well pass on time so that you can get out of here. And oddly enough, they seem to really like that answer, and they accepted me into the peer leaders, and I was really excited for that. But then there was this scheduling issue where I thought I fulfilled my science requirement because I took psychology the previous year. But it turns out that's a social science and not a real science. So after that, another thing as well, there was this art class I really wanted to take but it was the same period that peer leaders happened. But the school said, "Oh, don't worry, we have another peer leader class in third period." And I said, "Oh, that works great." So I decided to take the third period peer leader class. But that was a big fucking lie. That wasn't another peer leader class. That was a leadership class. Distinctly different and significantly, more useless. So instead of getting out there and doing something and leading, I was learning to be a leader, which I didn't really want. But I think that it's better not to worry so much about what could have been and just make the best of the situation and think about what you can take away from it. I remember in leadership class, I think everybody probably hated me because my style of leadership is I would kind of fuck off and do my own thing, and people would say, "Oh, I like what he's doing." And like one of the leadership exercises that we did is we were put in a team, and we had to make a paper airplane, and whoever paper airplane could go the farthest wins, right? So I asked the leadership teacher, are there any rules or any specifications for how you want the paper airplane to be built? And she said, no, you can build the paper airplane however you want. So in the first round, everybody made their paper airplanes, and they were going pretty far down the hallway. But what I did was I crumpled up I made a ball of paper, and I wrote airplane on it, and I just chucked it all the way down the hall, and I won round one. And then when round two rolled around, everybody was copying me. So that's when I kind of figured out that you can kind of lead just by doing your own thing. But yeah, the leadership class was an interesting experience. I was really butthurt though for almost the entire thing, because I wanted to be a peer leader, so I was acting all sad and grumpy, and I probably like bothered everybody. I was a real asshole, basically. Like I should have just immediately tried to make the best of it, but I dragged my feet like for the entire thing. But in the very last semester, I kind of cheered up a little. I feel like I would have made a pretty good peer leader, because I'm not all gung-ho about school. Like, I'm not one of those kids who strive to make a 4.0 GPA or whatever. I was just a kind of normal kid. So I felt like if I was a peer leader, I would have done pretty well, because, you know, if somebody said, man, I hate going to high school, I would have just been like, yeah, it sucks, you know. Something I really hate about this road is that there's like one speed limit sign on this entire road, and if you miss it, you miss it basically. So okay, there it is, 45 miles per hour. So usually back when I was going to high school, when I was taking this road home, I would often forget what the speed limit was, so I would have to base myself on the other cars and make sure that I wasn't going any faster than them, like, in case they were speeding. Yeah, that happened. How is it? By the way, I'm not trying to be one of those people who tells... I don't want to be one of those people who obsesses over their high school years, saying, oh, those were the days, or oh, you should make the best of high school and spend so much money going to events at high school so that you don't regret it. Now, I'm not one of those people who, like... I really didn't like those people who really oversold high school. They're like, oh, you should get into school spirit and buy t-shirts and all that bullshit. I don't want to be one of those people. All I want to say is you should make the best of any situation. Like, if you're in elementary school or middle school or high school, you should try and get out there and enjoy what they have to offer there. I'm in college right now, and I'm trying to enjoy what college has rather than kind of passively going through it, you know. And, you know, I'm hoping that in my adult years, well, I am an adult, but, you know, when I'm independent and I have a job and all that, I'm hoping that I'll try and make the best of that too and enjoy it for what it's worth, you know. Because whatever time like, you know, people might say that, oh, high school is the best years of your life, which isn't true. I don't think that high school is going to be the best years of your life. If it is, that's because you haven't lived life afterwards. But I feel like with high school, or like what I'm trying to say is high school isn't going to be the best years of your life, but you should still make the best of them. You should make the best of every day, really. That's what I've learned by wasting it, you know, the last couple decades. Oh yeah, I turned 20 last week, I think, or a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I've been here for a couple decades now. I too am incredibly humble. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I'm not overly sure why I'm doing this. I don't know. Just felt like I don't know. I just felt like talking. It's one of those things, you know, where I don't know. This is just something I'd like to do, and I thought it'd be nice to share a little bit of that experience. I'm glad today was one of the good drives. Because like I said, sometimes I go for a long drive and like the bad stuff comes out, and those days really suck. Because I end up just screaming, and people who, you know, are driving next to me just see me screaming at the road ahead of me. It's a bit awkward. I kind of wish I had somewhere to drive to, like a destination, because usually, you know, yeah, like the only times I usually go for a long drive is to go to college, because it's quite a long drive from my house to my college. But that's why I just feel this urge to get out sometimes. Kind of miss my friends. When yeah, I said in high school that I pretty much waited for friends to happen to me. That kind of happened. Freshman year, I met this guy called Zach. He was a funny guy. We got along pretty well. And then we didn't talk in sophomore year. We didn't see each other. But in junior year and senior year, we bumped into each other a couple times and became friends then. I remember very fondly. He loved doing bottle flips. I remember when bottle flips were a thing? Yeah, he always did that, like, all the time. Whenever he was bored, he just tried to flip his bottle. And I remember I went to his 18th birthday party. He called it Zach's to the Future, which was a very original name. Very creative, Zach. But I remember that was the first party I willingly went to of my own volition, just flat out went to it, you know. All the other birthday parties, it was because, like, my brother was going there and whatever. But yeah, I remember I had such a good time there, you know. But I remember what I got for his birthday. What I did was I bought a water bottle and I removed the label and made a custom label, kind of made it look old, and it said something along the lines of uh, whoever wields this what was it, if you be worthy, whoever wields this, it was the Thor thing, like, you know, if you're worthy, you may wield the power of Zack. That's what I put, kind of. And I remember I painted the cap to the bottle bronze, and I looked it up on Google, and I actually put in the perfect amount of water for flipping, and that's why I got him for his birthday. But I also got him a lightsaber, and I remember I painted one of the bolts on the lightsaber bronze to slightly customize it, and I just remember that was such a good time. Yeah, I remember, like everybody else, just kind of left their birthday presents on a table, but I told Zach that mine came with the presentation, so the party kind of stopped. Zach sat on this couch, and I walked up, and with my phone, I was playing the Star Wars theme, you know, like the da 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 da, and I pulled out the lightsaber. And Zach, he was really happy with the present. He loved the bottle, and he was really happy with the lightsaber. And he pretty much spent all night bullying everybody at the party with it. Like, he just kind of walked around smacking people over the head with it when they weren't looking. I remember I just got in a huge sword fight with him, trying to make him stop. But yeah. We you guys actually saw Zach. He was in the Christmas special. It was yeah, that was a good time. I don't really see any of my old friends too much anymore, cause what was it? I didn't make any friends until high school, while they made friends early on in life. Which means, as a friend, I came into their lives much later than all of their other friends. So, you know, knowing me, like, me being the newest of their friends, they obviously probably, this is just speculation, but I feel like they were probably the least fond of me, you know, because, like, oh, he's the new guy. Like, what I'm trying to say is they probably prioritize meeting with their friend that they've known for 10 years rather than their friend that they've known for, like, a couple years. That, and, like, you know, they all have jobs and college now, so they're all super busy. I'm pretty busy these days, too, but, you know, not as busy as them, because I've found myself in a pretty fortunate situation, but all the same, I had this really bad habit back then, where whenever I would go to my friend's house, like I had a few friends, but whenever I went to a friend's house, I I thought, oh, if they want me to leave, they just tell me. So I'd end up staying at my friend's house until like I'd end up staying at my friend's house until like 11 at night, and I would suddenly realize I should probably leave, because I just realized that they're scared of hurting my feelings or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that was another really bad habit I had back then. I just thought that if it's time to leave, they'll tell me, you know? this is completely off topic, but I really like soda. Like what is it? I've had a sip of beer once, and I just think it's like one of the worst tasting things ever. But I want to say I'm really lucky that beer does not taste as good as soda, because if that were the case, I would probably be an alcoholic. I don't know. Just I always liked it. Was it Coke and Pepsi? That's always been a big debate. Uh, Coke has a stronger flavor, but I feel like Pepsi has like a subtler flavor. I also always burp better with Pepsi, so whenever I need a good burp, I get Pepsi. But if I'm in mood for like some of the harder stuff, I get Coke. And sometimes I get soda too. see what I see what I did there? I said Coke as in like cocaine, and you didn't know it. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I am really not sure why I did all of this. I don't know. I just wanted to get out. I could do this for hours, like sitting in this parking lot, just enjoying the solitude of it. You know, I don't have to worry about anybody walking in. Well, I mean, I do, but like you know, that's more like getting robbed. You know, but I don't know. When I went to college, well, I'm still going to college, but whenever I went to college, I would just park in the parking lot, and I would eat snacks and watch YouTube, because I would always show up like an hour before my class, or like a couple hours, actually I would usually show up 3 hours before my class, because I was fine with just sitting in the car and eating and watching YouTube. Um, I don't know. There's just something nice about it. Can't tell you what. Anyway, I'm gonna continue my break from YouTube. I'm gonna try and get that birthday vlog out kind of soon. But all I have left to do this year is like the Halloween special and the Christmas special. Because I want to try and rework Asshole and Company. I kind of want to change the style of it. I feel like it's a little too I don't know. It's a little too lethargic, I think. It's a little too I don't know. Asshole and Company is just really. It's funny, the way it started was what was it? I do YouTube. I used to just do YouTube when I was bored. What was it? You know the the Burger King uh the Burger King chicken tenders review. I did that because I was so bored that I felt it in my stomach. Like, this is a thing, I don't know if it just happens to me. Sometimes I get so bored that I feel like my stomach is being crushed. and I just have to do something. So I grabbed the skeleton from my Halloween video. I just grabbed him and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna film a stupid video where I go to Burger King. And that's how it really started. But now I'm kind of interested in YouTube as a hobby. Like, I'm not ready to make a career out of it. I don't have the skill yet. But I'm really interested in doing YouTube as a hobby. But if that's the case, I can't really. I don't want to shitpost anymore, you know? Like, there's a difference between shitposting silly sketches on YouTube to pass the time and actually doing it as like a hobby to try and make stuff. And what is it? That basic the shit posting is you just film it and you don't care about quality. It's not the final product that you're concerned with. It's the filming of the product that you're doing just to pass the time so that you don't die of boredom. And then there's doing it as a hobby where you're trying to make something, you're trying to make it so the final product is something that you like. And when you do it as a career, that's when you have to start being mindful of what other people like and how to catch people's attention and actually find success. So that's my mentality for it. So I'm just in that stage where I want to make something I like. So yeah, I'm kind of working on Asshole and Company season 3 in my head, just trying to figure out how. I think Alan is going to stay the same character, because he's kind of. I don't know. I think he's in a good spot, but the character I play in it is a bit. It's more of like a caricature, really, or it's kind of like. If you noticed in like the Four Notes of Yoshi Part 2, I was kind of playing. It was kind of like an actor who didn't want to be there. That's kind of the character I was going for. It's like, this guy just doing it because he has to. Like, every line delivery, it just sounded like, okay, let's get this done. Which I felt was fun there, but if I'm going to continue, I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to try and change up who the character is. Maybe make him a bit more similar to myself, rather than this kind of. Well, it's kind of part of the joke, though, that in Asshole and Company I'm kind of playing this gross, non-human thing, you know? But, maybe it'd be fun to kind of change it up, where I'm still. Maybe I'll keep the character kind of, like, subhuman, like this kind of subhuman filth, but make him a bit more like a bit more like a good person or something, or just kind of adjust it so that the character is more relatable while still being garbage. But yeah, so that's the plan for the future, basically. Yeah, I think I'm done here. Yeah, I've been recording for too long. So, sorry that this video is bad. I just wanted to talk to the camera, and, I don't know. I just wanted to share my experience with driving, because this is kind of how. This is just a fun experience for me, and I thought I'd kind of try and share it.